Welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. We believe life is about how we react. Hey, welcome back to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. I say welcome back because I hope this isn't your first time, but if it is, welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. My name is Sean, and as always, I'm here with my friend Kyle Bryant. Kyle, how is it going today?
It's going good, and I'm super glad to have all these listeners, all five of them.
All of them. You know what? It's kind of fun right now. We have a lot of time on our hands the last couple of weeks. Everybody's been somewhat calm. And when I say calm, I mean like stuck at home calm, not like emotionally calm.
Yeah.
So, of course.
And relatively, right? As we're like sort of adjusting to this new normal.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Kyle, before we started recording and before we get into a meaningful conversation today, you were complaining about some things that I think might actually be good to complain about on air. So can you go ahead and just let something off your chest today?
Yeah. I was thinking about the other night, I went out to a restaurant with a friend. And I went into the accessible stall in the bathroom, right? So I'm doing my thing, finishing up, and there's a sink in there. And so I wash my hands. Mm-hmm. And I leave. The guy standing there waiting for the urinal, like not necessarily waiting for my stall, but like he's just standing there, right? Okay. And I pass up the main sink because I already washed my hands. But I felt compelled to tell that guy, hey, man, don't worry. I already washed my hands in there.
Because there was a sink in the stall.
Yeah, right. And obviously he probably doesn't know that, And so
all he's thinking is this guy is dirty. Like, he didn't wash it.
Yeah. Well, because have you ever, been at the sink washing your hands and somebody, passes behind you out the door?
I judge them all the time. In my head, I'm like, not shaking hands with that guy.
I'm not shaking
hands. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're not a fan of sinks inside the stall?
No, it's really convenient, but I just think it is conducive to a really socially awkward situation.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. You talking about stalls makes me think about a mall that I went to somewhere around the holiday time. It was the Roseville Galleria. You've been there. It's kind of outside Sacramento, real close. It's huge. It's the main mall for probably Northern California, right? Like, it's huge.
You're right.
So, using the wheelchair for a while, I found the family-friendly and accessible restroom, right? I've never seen a restroom quite like this. It was the coolest bathroom. At first, I thought it was weird, but then I realized why it's set up the way it is. It's a single use, like close the door, no shared areas, except for the family. And they had a normal height sink. So what is normal? Like 3.5 feet, maybe? We'll just say 3 feet off the ground. But then they had a sink right next to it that was maybe 1 foot off the ground. I kid you not, 1 foot. And I'm thought, wow, that's really short. But then they had kind of a wall barrier, and I noticed a toilet also 1 foot off the ground. And then a normal, quote-unquote, toilet that's, 20 some odd inches off the ground. It was a
Okay.
toilet and a sink for little tykes.
Wow.
Little kids with,
That's
they
kinda
don't need
cool,
a
I
step
guess,
stool or
right?
what. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's cute. So I
Nice.
think that was the first time ever being in public where I thought a public restroom was cute.
There you go. How about that?
How about that?
Nice. So, Sean, sticking with the theme of restrooms, that kind of triggered a thought. I know this like sort of trope is overdone, but don't you hate when you stick your hands under a motion sensor and the water doesn't come out, and then you pull your hand back, and all of a sudden
It
it
comes
starts
out?
pouring. So, or you like do it with the soap, right? And all of a sudden there's like a puddle of soap on the, because it went like 5 times without your hand.
Yeah,
anyway.
I feel like the bigger issue is soap. Like you put your hand under there, it does nothing. But as soon as you move your hand out of the way,
Yeah.
soap dispenses. So if sometimes you like find yourself thinking, oh, do I just scoop it up off the counter? Or what do I do? Yes, those
Actually, I've never thought of that, but I might do that.
those
next
sensor
time.
dispensers, cool concept. But man, if they're not working correctly, they
Yeah.
can be incredibly frustrating.
You'd think that somebody would have figured that out by now. Let's get on that.
Thinking about frustrating, I I got something I gotta get off my chest. I not too long ago was in a Starbucks before they pretty much all shut down. So I had rolled into Starbucks and found myself behind a guy who was no less than 40 years old. Okay, like
Okay.
to me, I think he's been around and he's probably been in Starbucks.
Sean, you're almost 40, dude.
Oh, I know. I'm not hating. Can't believe you, me. Well, Starbucks started decades ago with their own take on size, right? Small, medium,
Right.
large. They don't call it
Right.
that. It's tall, grande, venti, and then more.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like Starbucks has been around long enough for all of us to know what those sizes are for them. This guy I was behind, A, took forever to figure out what he wanted, and B, had to ask to see the cups. Like, oh, what does the grande look like? And I'm not hating on the need to see what it looks like, but I just found myself mind blown that this guy acted like he had never seen a grande cup. Like he didn't know what to order. And I was like, if you're not sure what to order, step aside. Like, how do you not know what you want?
Yeah.
So I think what I found to be frustrating in the moment is people that insist on staying in line even though they have no clue what they want or how they want it. Like, you need to step aside.
Yeah, of course.
That's not cool.
Yeah, well, I do though want to caveat my response with, come on, why can't you just call it large, medium, and small? Like that, give me a friggin' break.
I think that is a fair question like 20 years ago, but we're all used to it now. So it's
all right.
whatever. It's a well-established size system, if you will.
So we want to get to our main topic, but I feel compelled to bring this up because we're kind of going down this track just of stuff that's frustrating, right?
Okay.
And I went to my mailbox the other day, and it was jam-packed. And I grabbed it out. I was dropping it all over the place, trying to get it out to my car. And I brought it home and realized there is not a single thing in there that is relevant to me. I threw it all away. And I really, really hate junk mail.
I'm with you on that one. Especially like a month ago or so, California had their primaries, right, for public office. And I found myself digging out of my mailbox 1,000 pieces of
exactly.
marketing, vote for type stuff. And it wasn't one or two for the same person. It was like 12 or 20. And I'm like, dude, I get the point. You want me to vote for you. Stop sending me crap. In fact, the same guy kept texting me. Well, not him personally, but like his team, right? They kept
auto bot or whatever.
And it was always a different phone number. So I don't like, but it was always hey, Sean, this is, we'll say Jim, and I'm voting for X, Y, and Z, and I think you should, Jim, I get it. Jim and Carol and Kathy and Chris, they've all texted me in the last week telling me to vote for your guy. I get it. You want me to vote for your guy.
Dude, I get texts from multiple different people or like entities to someone named Kathy. I'm like, there is no Kathy here, but like, it must be my number must be associated with someone named Kathy on some list somewhere, and they're all accessing it or something. So
speaking of that, I keep getting a phone call. In fact, it's weird because when I first got this number, I got these calls all the time for, I forget her first name, but Ozuna is their last name. So something Ozuna or Ozuna. And at first I'm like, no, obviously old number. Those automatic phone, I'm pretty sure they're like bill collectors because they're aggressive looking for this Ozuna person.
Right.
Well, I haven't had a phone call like that in years, but I got one 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, what? How are you guys not finding your person? Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
This number obviously hasn't been hers for almost 10 years, probably. 6, 8, maybe. Whatever. It's annoying. Those automatic calls. Yeah, I'm with you. Junk mail.
I agree.
Automatic phone calls. Not knowing what you want when you're in line at Starbucks. Like, come on. Starbucks has been around long enough. Know what you want or step aside.
Yep, I agree.
They have a mobile app too you can look at while you're not holding up the line.
That's a good point. Let's all like, especially at a place that like has a line or like that's supposed to be fast, right? Look at the menu before you get there if you don't know.
Lines that should be fast. TSA.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Right. No, speaking of TSA, Sean, one thing that's really been annoying me lately is protocol changes sometimes for like, pat downs, full pat down versus like just swap the hands and look under the chair and whatever. Yeah. And I really can't stand when I go to like multiple different airports during a trip and they all have different protocols. And I'm like, what? Wait, let's get it together here. Like, come on, let's synchronize a little bit. And oftentimes, like, the actual guy with the rubber glove, he doesn't know what the protocol is. So he has to ask his supervisor something. And I'm like, all right, rookie, let's get it together here. Like, it was different yesterday. And sometimes I have to be like, nope. Sorry, you're not touching me. Like, just swap my hands because that's all we're doing here.
I do kind of wonder about TSA sometimes. Like, obviously, it's meant to provide stronger security, but I'm not convinced that it's stronger security. I think it's just more annoying security. I don't know that it actually helps protect anything.
Yeah, sometimes I don't exactly feel safe after going through TSA.
I was on a flight not too long ago, and TSA was fine. I had one of those people that were probably on the news side, so they had to keep asking their supervisor when they were inspecting my wheelchair.
Right, yep.
But they were fine. They were cool. They weren't like rude about it. So, and I was patient. It was no issue. But I got on that flight, and I realized there was something that bugs me about the general public when they get on a flight. And that is people that don't follow the flight attendant's either directions or suggestions.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm sitting up front, so I can hear the flight attendant as people are getting on. And this one guy carries on this massive car seat, for his child. And it wasn't like a booster seat for the airplane ride. It was a car seat for the vehicle when they land. And as the guy's getting on, the lady's like, oh, that's not going to fit. We should probably just tag it and throw it underneath. And literally, the guy's like, oh, no, it's fine. It'll fit overhead. And she's like, no, this plane's a little smaller than what you're used to, probably. We need to throw it underneath. Literally, the guy keeps walking. Oh, no, it's fine. It's going to be fine. And he just goes on. And she's like, okay, I'm new here. I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. And she kind of makes a sarcastic joke, and I laugh. And I kid you not, bro, 5 minutes later, after everybody's on the plane and getting settled in, this guy walked back up front with his oversized car seat with his, tail between his legs, yeah, I guess you were right. And, to me, I felt vindicated for the flight attendant.
Yeah.
Come on, God. She lives on this plane. Do you really think she doesn't know what she's talking about?
Even if you feel very strongly that you're in the right, I say do what the flight attendant says. They're the ones they're taking care of us, right? They're in control.
Or at least ask. Maybe, but do you mind if I just try it? I get it. We all feel better if we discover the thing ourselves. So maybe the flight attendant would have said, okay, go for it. I don't know. At least ask. Don't just walk away. I felt like he was being rude.
Yeah.
That was annoying.
Sean, so as we're talking here, I'm looking down, and I have a little drawer here, and there's dead batteries in there because I have to replace the batteries on my headphones every once in a while. And I have all these dead batteries in here, and so let me ask you this because it's really annoying to me. And maybe it's not to you, so I want some advice. How do you get rid of dead batteries? Because I know there's a way, you take them to recycling at Best Buy or whatever, but why can't it be easier to get rid of batteries? Because I never know if they're dead or alive, right?
I'm going to be, you probably don't want my answer. And I guarantee you.
Oh, you throw them in the garbage, don't you?
Yeah, what are you supposed to do with them?
That's what I'm saying, dude. But you can't just throw them away, though. I don't know. They just seem like incredibly hazardous waste.
So I know that to be true at work. I can't throw them at work. But at home, I've never thought differently. Everything goes in the garbage.
Oh my gosh, because Sean, at home you can throw anything away, right? Because no one's ever going to know. It goes in the dumpster and then no one knows where it came from.
But I also feel like this is what part of the garbage fees I pay is they go to a garbage center and somebody or a lot of somebody's sort the garbage. I know that's not true in every county. But I'm pretty sure my county pays people to sort the garbage. And whether I'm sorting it or they're sorting it, the fee is not going to go away. So I'm going to maximize the fee I pay. And I'm going to let somebody keep their job. That's my take on it.
Dude, I am calling on all of our listeners right now flood Sean's social media with recycling stuff, whatever. Whoever feels strongly about recycling batteries, let's serve it up to Sean
Is
here.
it not okay to let the public service handle the sorting of my batteries?
I don't know. At some point, I think it's all our personal responsibility. But Sean, we could argue about this forever. We are. I think this has gone on long enough. We can't even get to our main content today.
We obviously, I think being pinned up a bit, not being able to go to the gym and do things like that for a little while has got a lot of pent up anger issues. I have a lot to vent about.
Yeah, that can. Well, so that's good. We have to leave it there for today.
Okay.
No main content. It all just ended up being Sean and Kyle complaining for this episode. But I think, Sean, we need to get back on track, get our minds a little more centered by showing some gratitude, because we know that is a way a technique we can use to get back on track.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. So
here we go.
I think for my thank you note, I'm going to say thank you again to a general thing, not a specific individual.
Okay.
I'm going to say thank you to Amazon and Walmart.
All right. Wow, that's...
I can't give you too many details, but Kyle, I must admit that somewhere along the way, on somebody's part, not mine, like it's either Amazon or Walmart, I can't figure it out, but somebody has put my exact apartment and address on the return labels. And so I've been getting returns from Amazon.
What?
Purchased through Walmart, delivered through Amazon, or however it works, I'm not sure, at my doorstep every couple days.
What?
And
that's so
for
crazy.
the first few, my roommate and I, we weren't really sure. Like, is it his? Is it mine? Like, it took us a while to figure out that these couple boxes are mistakes.
So what do you do with them?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave it there. Like I said, I can't give you too many details. We have a lot of boxes in our living room, and I'm trying to figure out, who do I tell? I went on Amazon's website for a good 20 minutes the other night trying to find a 1-800 number, and I don't know that they actually have a phone number
for that.
I don't know who to call.
So, another question: do you know what are in these boxes? Like,
maybe
is there a theme to them? And is it? Give me a hint here. Is it something like personal or like, I don't know? You seem to be really apprehensive.
Because I feel like I can go to jail. Like, I don't know. I don't know but the reason why I'm saying thank you is, right at the peak of things going insane for preparing to be stuck in your house for months on end. People were going crazy over toilet paper.
Is it a bunch of toilet paper?
I don't think I'm gonna need to buy toilet paper for 3 years.
Oh my gosh!
Years, wow. Kyle. Years, not a couple of weeks or a month, but I mean years.
You could really make some cash with that toilet paper right now.
So I feel like if I did that, I would. There's probably some room for prison time. Okay. So I'm not. We're not making money off it, but we're trying to figure out what do we do.
Oh my gosh. All
So
right. Well,
if any of you have, feedback on who I call or email, I would love to get these boxes returned to the rightful owner.
or if anybody has suggestions on how to use 3 years supply of toilet paper, let Sean know.
Yeah.
Wait, so you said Walmart too, I think.
Yeah, so most of the items are like somehow purchased from Walmart. Like they're Walmart boxes.
But they're
going back
receipts.
to an Amazon distribution center, or at least they're supposed to be, but they're actually coming to me.
All right, there we are.
So
if you ever wonder where your Amazon return goes, you know. All right, my thank you note is to someone I was thinking about, and I think about it often whenever I'm faced with a decision to like quit, like something gets really hard and I'm like, oh, it'd be so easy to just quit. And we all know that shouldn't be our first thought, right? But oftentimes it is. So when I was a freshman in high school, if you could imagine this, I played football.
wow.
Almost everyone, the football team was huge at my high school, especially the freshman team. So me and my friend Andy, we probably weighed a little less than 100 pounds maybe, and we're just getting jacked like every practice, right? And so there's a guy who, everyone's got an advisor, right? And I say that in quotes because, it's an academic advisor or just somebody who, like, not really academic, but someone who just you can go to in whatever. Anyway, he's my advisor. Okay. And he also happens to be the athletic director of the school.
Okay.
So me and Andy both go to him and we're like, hey, Mr. McCurry, we're going to quit football because
we're small.
Just because we hate it. We never play in a game. We literally never play in a game, and we just get jacked at practice all the time. And he's like, no, I'm not letting you quit. You can't quit. Don't ever quit anything. And that really stuck with me. Like, I think about it all the time. And he wasn't, I saw him once a week. He was always around, but I never really had all that many conversations with him, but he really came through in a time that like was really important. So, yeah. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Jack McCrory. Thank you, Mr. McCrory.
Nice. I like it. It's crazy how you think, especially now, you think about where somebody might be in an insignificant role in your life, but they have words of advice or they have some sort of action that actually sticks with you for 20, 30, 40 years. That's cool.
Yeah. And I mean, I thought about it, so we ended up finishing out that year in football and did not play the next year. But I thought about that. Like, I'm riding my trike across the country, and there's some not fun days, right? And I think back to Mr. McCurry being like, "Nope, don't quit, just keep going." So
I like it. It's valuable.
Cool. So, Sean, in this episode, we kind of got off track a little bit because we had so much frustration with things in life. But I love how it's come full circle, right? Because we engineered this into our episodes where we finish with gratitude. And maybe that's something that we can do in our lives, right? Is think about gratitude and how that changes our mindset.
For sure. So even in the midst of frustrating operations at at a local coffee shop when somebody doesn't know what they want, or in the midst of annoying processes at the airport. Whatever the case, find something to be thankful for, and be thankful that we're still breathing, right? That the sun still shines. There's always a reason to get out of bed. So thank you for listening to Kyle and I rant and ramble and go on and on. We look forward to talk with you next time. So until then, keep living with urgency.
Thank you for listening to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast.
Find us online at twodisableddudes.com and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Special thanks to our friend and audio producer, Jake Tompkins.